What's going on, Colts Nation? I appreciate you joining me for another video where today I want to talk a little bit more about the draft and who the Colts could take. And right now, it's not going to be my mock draft. This is going to be a mock draft of a lot of different experts and kind of seeing what other guys are thinking. Okay, so starting with ESPN, Matt Miller has us taking Byron Murphy, the defensive tackle, which would be nice. We've talked about Byron Murphy before, and adding him to that defensive line group would be huge going forward. So I think Byron Murphy, if that did happen, even though I think that could be pretty unlikely, I think Byron Murphy for the future on the defensive side of the ball would be a good way to go. Then you have Quinyon Mitchell projected to go to the Colts by Mel Kiper Jr. And Mel Kiper Jr. isn't always right. And actually, honestly, in my opinion, I think he's usually more wrong than he is right. But Mel Kiper Jr., who knows what he knows, right? What kind of information is he hearing at this point in the year? He has us taking Quinyon Mitchell, and that is a common theme among a lot of these different guys is they have us taking Quinyon Mitchell. It's easily the most popular name they have us taken, right? When you look at CBS Sports, Josh Edwards has us also taking Quinyon Mitchell with pick 15. And at this point, everybody keeps us at pick 15. There were no trades in the article that I'm seeing and where I'm getting this information. But when you look at it again, a lot of people, Quinyon Mitchell, PFF, Brad Spielberger also has us taking Quinyon Mitchell. Then you have Bucky Brooks with NFL.com has us taking Quinyon Mitchell. So a lot of guys have us taking Quinyon Mitchell. And I know for Mel Kiper, he says that the first cornerback off the board is Quinyon Mitchell to the Colts. So he thinks it'll be pick 15 when the first corner is drafted, and not because, the depth isn't there at that position or the talent isn't there at that position, but because the talent and depth is so good in other positions and other key positions, right? Quarterback, wide receiver. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of those guys taken in those first 15, and then he thinks Quinyon Mitchell ends up coming off the board to the Colts. Now, there are other corners that people have us taken, right? You look at Pro Football Network, Joe Broback. He has us taking Terrion Arnold from Alabama, and that would be a good pick too. If we get Terrion Arnold, I'm more than okay with that. I think he's going to be really good in the NFL for whoever ends up drafting him. They're going to be happy they got him. I think he is a top 10 talent, not even just at his position, but in this entire draft. I think he's a top 10 talent. So Terrion Arnold, really good player. If we end up with him, I'm okay with that. And then Charles Davis even noted in his description that he knows it's a bit earlier than people think, but Cooper DeJean could end up going 15 to the Colts because of his physicality, his athleticism, his versatility, and everything that he's able to do. Kind of a prototypical, Chris Ballard guy. That the kind of has the potential for a million moons, but can he put it together on the field? That's kind of Chris Ballard in a nutshell when you think of his talent valuation. So a lot of people have us taking a corner, which makes sense, right? We've talked so much about that, right? We were all wanting L'Jarius Sneed, but just like I've mentioned before, going into the season, yes, we need more depth, but Dallas Flowers, even though he's coming off an injury, I think he's a really talented player, both as a kick returner and showed some good promise as a corner in the little bit that we've seen from him on the field. Now, also Juju Brents, I think he's going to be able to stay healthy and expect him to be able to stay healthy. And I think he can be our number one corner. Like, I think Juju Brents is going to take a big step this upcoming year and going to put people on notice. I think Juju Brents has a lot of talent, is going to be a really good football player. And Jalen Jones, I think, played really well. 7th-round pick, came in, played well all season long, got a bunch of experience going into his second year in this Gus Bradley system. He should be more comfortable. He has that experience. So coming in, Jalen Jones should be able to be better. So I think our secondary is pretty good. If you add any of these guys, I think Quinyon Mitchell would be really good. I think Cooper DeJean, for everything he can do, would be really good. I also think Terrion Arnold, again, would be really good. So if we get any of those three guys to add to that cornerback room, I'm completely fine with that. But again, Matt Miller from ESPN had us taking Byron Murphy, and I'm completely fine if that's the direction the Colts want to go. Not really, a sexy pick, but a guy that's going to be really good in the NFL. Bring him in, build around Anthony Richardson, building the defense while Anthony Richardson is here, starting with Brian Murphy, would be a good idea. Now, looking at the other picks, you have from the Athletic, Ben Standig has us taking Brian Thomas Jr. And of course, we've talked so much about that. Like, of course, we would like to have Brian Thomas Jr., more than okay with bringing Brian Thomas Jr. in. So if that's the pick of 15, I'm completely fine with that. I think the Colts could use to add some more competition in that room. I think Josh Downs kind of cemented himself as the number two option already. So expect him to take another step, especially with Anthony Richardson coming back. Just kind of expect him to be able to do his thing. Michael Pittman Jr. obviously going to be doing his thing, and creating competition specifically for Alec Pierce, I think is a good move and would be a good move. And we'll see if the Colts decide to go that route. But for me at this point, I'm still like the two picks that I want the most that I think are reasonable for pick 15. I think Terrion Arnold probably going to get picked before pick 15. I don't really agree with Mel Kiper there. I think he's probably the best corner in the draft. Quinyon Mitchell has definitely made a case to be that guy, though. So Quinyon Mitchell is a guy. If Terrion Arnold's there, Terrion Arnold's a good pick. But also Brian Thomas Jr. The explosiveness, everything that he brings, I think he's more multifaceted than people think. Like Alec Pierce, he's a go ball guy. I think Brian Thomas is a go ball guy, but can also do a lot of other things. And I think that can be valuable to the offense and again, create competition in that wide receiver room specifically for Alec Pierce. So that's what I'm hoping happens at this point, corner or wide receiver, however it goes. But however you think it should go, you let me know down in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe with notifications on so you get notified when any more videos come out. And of course, I appreciate you joining me for another video. As always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.